Now that we know what a title tag is, let's learn how to create them and what to look for when we are writing a title tag. So the first thing is, how do you actually create a title tag? Well, this varies drastically depending on what content management system or CMS you have. So I know that's a fancy term, but it just basically means where you go to edit your content. And depending on what you have, it makes a big difference in how you actually create a title tag. So WordPress is a very popular tool that people create websites on, and it's one that I happen to recommend. But in WordPress, often the title tag is what you include here up in the headline. Now, not necessarily, it depends on various factors, but let's just... So that's an example of a headline. Now, if I actually scroll down, I have a plugin here that's called Yoast, and it's an extremely popular SEO plugin. And it will actually display what the title tag is going to look like. So this particular website has it set up to where it has the headline of whatever is in the post, but it also affixes the name of the company. So hyphen Lake Erie Brain Performance Institute. Now, the Yoast tool is pretty cool in that if I didn't want to affix this at the end by default, I can go into here and have a new title tag. So that's two different ways I can go about creating a title tag in WordPress on this particular website. So now the title tag is going to be this right here. So to just give you an idea, here's another content management system. And as I'm creating a new page, it tells me right here the page title. So whatever I'm putting in right here is what's going to be the title tag. So it's going to show up on my website up here in the title tag and also in the search results page, as I was saying. So that's how to actually create a title tag. Again, I can't go over your particular website because there are hundreds of content management systems out there and each one is a little bit different. But that's a basic general overview of where you go to edit or create a title tag. Now, what are we looking for when we create a title tag? Well, the first thing you want to do is do some keyword research on the subject to find what keyword you want to target. So if you have a page about how to tie a tie and you've done the keyword research to find that people actually search for that, then obviously you're going to want to have that included in your title tag somewhere. Now, side note, I'll be going into a lot of detail on keyword research. It's extremely important. But just for now, let's just say we've done the research and we know how to tie a tie is the page that we want to write about. So I'm going to want to make sure that how to tie a tie is in the keyword result page, in the title tag. And another thing worth mentioning is I'm going to want to make sure it's close to the front as possible. And if we're going to talk about psychology, again, if I'm doing a search for how to tie a tie, when I do that search, I'm going to be scanning through the list of results pages. And I'm more likely to click on a page if the exact phrase that I typed in shows up in the beginning right there. Now, yes, if it shows up towards the end, like here, Brooks Brothers, how to tie a tie, yes, I still might click it because I see it's what I'm looking for, but I'm even more likely to click it if it's right there in the front, how to tie a tie. So if I was doing this search and I wanted to know, I would probably most likely click on this first link right here because it's right there. It's also a video, which I'll also get into later, the importance of video. But having it towards the front and having the phrase that you want to rank for in the title tag is essential. Now, another thing worth mentioning is the size of the title tag. So how big do we want to make our title tags? Well, with Google and other search engines, we have so much real estate to work with. So we have, from basically here to here of space that we can use. So how much is that exactly? I'll go over that in a second. But what we don't want to do is have that our title tags are too long, and we don't want them to be too short. The reason we don't want them to be too long is because, as you can see here, this title tag is getting cut off. So it doesn't do us any good to have a title tag that's too long, because it's just going to get cut off. And there's debate that Google might slightly penalize you if your title tag is too long because it doesn't provide that good experience. So bottom line, you don't want to have a title tag that's too long. On the other end, you don't want a title tag that's too short either. Now, why is that? So here's an example of a title tag that is fairly short. And the reason is you have a lot of real estate here that you're not really taking advantage of. So yes, you might be able to rank for how to tie a tie, but you could also potentially rank for other terms if you include a little bit more here. Now, this is debatable, of course. This is a little bit more debatable than long title tags. Pretty much everyone will agree you don't want to have a title tag that's too long because it's getting cut off. But you probably, in my opinion, you want to take a little bit more advantage of the real estate space you have here and expand on this title tag a little bit more. That way you have a chance of ranking for potentially another keyword or something like that. Now, if I show you Screaming Frog, which is a great tool that I'll go into in a lot more detail later, as far as the character counts, this is a pretty cool tool that you can use. So if I click on SERP snippet at the bottom and I click just one of the pages, so it actually will show me what a Google search result page is going to look like. Let me just do another example. Okay, so this is what the title tag looks like. Now I can keep typing and see exactly where it's going to get cut off at. So right around there is when it's going to get cut off. So to answer the question, how long, how short, how many characters to use? Well, you can't give a definitive answer because it's more about real estate space. Now, obviously, the letter I or something like that is a lot narrower than, say, the letter M. So if your title tag has a lot of letter M's in it, then that's less characters you can use than if you're using I's. You could use a lot more of those. So you can use Screaming Frog to see exactly what the title tag is going to look like. You can also do that with Yoast. So if you have WordPress, it's going to show you exactly what it's going to look like as a title tag. Now, a rule of thumb, you want your title tags to be roughly in the 40 to 55 character length. That's a good ballpark of not being too short, but having 55 characters more times than not is not going to get cut off in a search result page. So 40 to 55 is a good rule of thumb. Now, Screaming Frog, like I said, actually gets down to the exact character or the exact pixel length. So you can actually look at all the title tags this website's already written and see which ones have actually gone too long, 487 pixels, or below 200 pixels. So it gets right down into the pixel length. And you can see all of these down here are getting cut off. So you can really get down to the nitty-gritty of actual pixel lengths with Screaming Frog. but just staying within the 40 to 55 character length is a good rule of thumb. So to summarize this up, you want to do keyword research to find what the page is about, and you don't want to make a title tag about a page that's nothing relevant to it. It should be relevant to the content on your page. So you do the keyword research, you find a keyword, you write a page about it, and then you include it in your title tag, preferably as close to the beginning as possible. And then you want to stay in that 40 to 55 character limit range. So if I was doing a title tag on how to tie a tie, that is probably under that 40 character length. So you could do, let me do it in here. So I could do how to tie a tie hyphen my company name. So that would expand it a little bit. Or you could do tie a Windsor knot, something. You might be able to fit in a second keyword there. That's another way you can expand on a title tag, by having a secondary key phrase in there. But expanding it so it's a little bit longer is what I recommend. Now, other people may disagree with this, but this is what I would recommend, making sure it's in at least 40 characters, or so it has a little bit more of that real space, as I was saying. So, sorry, to summarize this up again, do keyword research, make sure your title tag is close to the front, and stick within that 40 to 55 character length. And if you really want to get particular, you can preview it using the Yoast tool or Screaming Frog to make sure that your title tag's not getting cut off. But if you follow these rules, you should be in good shape as far as writing a title tag. You just need to learn how to do all the other things correct, which is what we're going to go over in the next videos.